When was the last time you really looked at your pocket change? I mean, not just glanced, but really paid attention to what's in your wallet or coin jar. Because what if I told you that a plain looking penny from 1971, one with no mint mark at all, could be worth a staggering $1.6 million? Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent. One copper coin. Worth enough to buy a dream home, a brand new luxury car, and still have plenty left to live like royalty. And now here's the kicker. There could be one sitting right in your own home right now. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's go deep into the incredible story of the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny that shocked the numismatic world. You do not want to miss this. The year is 1971. Gas is just 40 cents a gallon, the Vietnam War is still raging, and Richard Nixon is in the White House. And in the United States Mint, Lincoln pennies are being struck by the millions, day and night. Most were made in Philadelphia, some in Denver, and a portion in San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins? They came with no mint mark at all. So, a 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark might seem common at first glance, but here's where the story takes a sharp turn. Not all pennies are created equal. The overwhelming majority of those coins were struck in average quality, meant to last a few years in circulation before being worn down and replaced. Some were struck with incredible precision, struck on the wrong planchets, or with minting errors that slipped past the eyes of inspectors. And among them sits one particular 1971 no mint mark penny that has shaken the collecting world. A penny that reached a jaw-dropping market value of $1.6 million. You'll find out in just a moment. If you've got a 1971 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, don't toss it into the jar just yet. The first thing to inspect is the condition. The $1 million versions are usually in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state. Look closely at the coin. Does the copper still shine? Are Lincoln's details, his beard, the collar, the lettering, sharply defined? Next, flip it over. The Lincoln Memorial on the back should be crisp. No scratches, dents, or discoloration. Now here's the real secret. Some of these ultra-rare coins were struck on the wrong metal planchets. That means the coin might not even look like a normal copper penny. Some 1971 no mint mark pennies were accidentally struck on leftover silver dime planchets or foreign metal discs. And this is where things get wild. A 1971 penny that's slightly lighter or has a different tone could be worth a fortune. A powerful combination of rarity, a historical error, and the frenzy of collectors competing to own a piece of American minting mystery. That's exactly what happened to one man. And his story is going to blow your mind. Retired factory worker from Ohio, sorting through old coin rolls that had been collecting dust in his basement for over 30 years, it started off just like any other weekend project. Organize, maybe find something fun to show the grandkids, but then, he spotted it. A 1971 penny with no mint mark, and a silver tone. He thought, that's odd. And instead of tossing it aside, he did something most people wouldn't even think to do. It came in lighter than a normal penny. He got curious. Sent it to a third-party grading company. The coin came back authenticated. It had been mistakenly struck on a dime planchet, and just like that, a coin worth 1 cent became a coin worth well over $1.6 million at auction. Imagine opening an old drawer and finding a check with 7 figures written on it, all because you took a closer look. That's the magic of rare coins. You never know when lightning will strike. Absolutely. Let me show you why. Even if your 1971 penny looks normal, don't dismiss it. There are other varieties and errors that can make your coin incredibly valuable. Look at the lettering, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. If you see doubling, it could be a major error. If the coin wasn't perfectly aligned when struck, part of the design might be missing or off balance. Collectors pay thousands for these. Missing a small crescent-shaped chunk? That's not damage, it could be a mint error. If there's a raised line or blob on the coin, it might be the result of a cracked die, and that can add big value. Every tiny detail can matter. You're not just looking for shiny pennies. You're looking for clues. Because some of these details could mean the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one that turns you into a millionaire. Now, you may be wondering, who's buying these coins? Who would spend over $1 million on a penny? High-end coin collecting is no longer just a hobby. It's a full-blown investment strategy. We're talking CEOs, billionaires, museums, and even celebrities. These aren't just collectors, they're building legacy portfolios. To them, a rare 1971 penny is more than just metal. It's history. It's rarity. And it's an asset. Auctions for coins like this don't happen every day. When they do, prices can skyrocket. Demand far outweighs supply. With inflation rising and people looking for stable investments outside of the stock market, rare coins are becoming more valuable, not less, which means that penny in your drawer today might be worth even more tomorrow. And speaking of future value, what if I told you that the 1971 no-mint mark penny is not the only sleeping giant out there? Let's wrap this up with one last powerful thought. You've just learned about one of the most unexpected treasures in American coinage, the 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, quietly climbing its way to a market value of $1.6 million. You've heard the story of the man who discovered one by accident. You now know what to look for. And you've learned that the world of coin collecting is far more than a pastime. It's a door, a secret gateway to life-changing wealth. But here's the thing, this coin is just one of many. Your coin jar, your junk drawer, even your childhood piggy bank might be hiding more than you ever imagined. And next week, we're diving into another unbelievable coin story, one even rarer than this one. So if you want to be the first to uncover these hidden gems and maybe, just maybe, become the next person to turn a penny into a fortune. Gentlemen, what if I told you that a single penny, yes, a copper coin sitting in an old coffee can, hidden in your attic or inside your grandfather's toolbox, could be worth more than most luxury homes in America? Imagine turning a dusty 1967 Lincoln Memorial penny into a staggering $1.7 million windfall. Life-changing money. And the best part? You don't need a vault of coins. You just need the right one. In today's video, we're going to explore the incredible story behind the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, how a common-looking coin turned into a collector's dream. We're not just talking numbers, we're diving into the real value, why collectors crave it, what specific features make it rare, and how you might be holding onto this fortune without even knowing it. So grab your coins, your curiosity, and maybe even your magnifying glass, because this might be the most profitable 30 minutes of your life. And stick around, because later in the video, I'll reveal one shocking detail found in only a handful of these pennies that skyrocketed their value past the $1 million mark. America was in the middle of a cultural revolution. Vietnam, Woodstock, muscle cars on the streets. But quietly, without any fanfare, the US Mint made a move that would echo for decades among coin collectors. To deal with a coin shortage that started in the early 60s, the Mint stopped using mint marks on coins from 1965 through 1967. That's right, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. All coins, including pennies, were struck without mint marks. That made identifying rarities tougher, but not impossible. Among the billions of Lincoln Memorial cents minted that year, something incredible slipped through the cracks. A few coins, nearly identical to the others, held secrets that would only be discovered decades later. At first glance, the 1967 penny doesn't look like much. It features the familiar Abraham Lincoln profile on the obverse. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, just like millions of others. But here's the twist, certain 1967 pennies were struck using worn dies. Some had doubling errors. Others had rare planchet flaws. And a few, just a few, were struck using experimental dies meant for proof coins, not circulation coins. These coins weren't supposed to be released. But some escaped. Quietly. Mysteriously, and when collectors started uncovering them years later, the prices began to soar. One coin, in particular, discovered in pristine condition with a rare doubling feature and an unusually sharp strike, sold at a high-profile auction for $1.70 million. Yes, you heard that right. 1 penny. $1.7 million. First, condition is everything. A coin in circulated condition might bring you a few bucks. But a coin in uncirculated or mint state condition, that's where things get interesting, doubling on the date and lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. This doubling, known as DDR or DDO, can be subtle. You might not see it with the naked eye, but under magnification? A treasure map, unusual coloration or luster, coins struck on experimental planchets often look slightly different. They may appear shinier or duller depending on the metal mix. Small raised lines or missing pieces in the design can signal minting errors. And error coins are hot in the market right now. These have mirrored fields and frosted images. If you find a 1967 penny that looks like a proof coin, but isn't supposed to be one, you might be onto something big. Here's where it gets even better, because in a moment, I'll tell you about the man who found one in a jar of pennies from his late father's workshop, and how it changed his life. Meet Richard Carlson from Ohio. Vietnam veteran. retired machinist. After his father passed, Richard was clearing out the garage when he stumbled upon a tin of coins tucked behind an old drill press. Among the dozens of pennies, nickels, and dusty quarters was a bright Lincoln penny dated 1967. No mint mark. Unusual sheen. Curious, Richard held on to it. Years later, his grandson took the coin to a local coin show. A sharp-eyed dealer asked to examine it under magnification. A once-in-a-generation find. Doubling on the lettering. Exceptional luster. A near-flawless strike. And proof like Fields, the coin was authenticated by a top-tier grading service and sold through a private collector's auction for $1.7 million, from a rusty coffee can to a life-changing fortune. It's not just rarity. It's the story. The condition. The emotion tied to the hunt. Collectors crave history. They want the piece no one else has. And when it comes to 1967 pennies, the market is fiercely competitive. High-grade coins with errors are in extremely short supply. The older they get, the harder they are to find in pristine shape. That's why values continue to climb and why some dealers are now offering bounties just to locate these coins. The $1.7 million penny was just the beginning. There are whispers of others still out there. Maybe in your home. Maybe in your pocket change, which leads us to a critical point. Old jars, desk drawers, shoeboxes, and the closet bags of change from parents or grandparents. Focus on coins that are shiny, untouched, or set aside for years. If you find a 1967 penny in excellent condition, don't clean it. Cleaning can ruin value. Place it in a soft holder and take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade the coin. And from there, you can choose to auction it, sometimes through platforms like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers, or connect with high-end private collectors. But before you do, you need to know something else. There's one more feature, one final twist that could send your coin's value through the roof, and it's not what you think. In rare cases, a few 1967 pennies were struck using dies meant for the 1968 proof series. These coins have tiny rim errors, barely visible to the eye, but distinctive under magnification. They also have a unique die polish pattern behind Lincoln's head. Almost like streaks in the metal. It looks like a flaw, but it's not. It's the fingerprint of the die itself. For this detail alone, confirmed by only a handful of grading experts, has turned regular-looking pennies into museum-worthy treasures. So if you spot a coin like this, congratulations, you may be holding the next record-breaking Lincoln cent. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a golden opportunity for the lucky few who take the time to look. So the next time you empty your pockets, dig through a drawer, or cash in an old jar of coins, remember, lightning might strike in copper. Thanks for watching. If you've got a 1967 penny, drop a comment and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of ordinary coins with extraordinary value. You've probably seen a penny on the sidewalk. Maybe even stepped over one. But what if I told you that a single, humble-looking 1968 Lincoln penny could be the key to a fortune? I'm not talking spare change. I'm talking about one of the most sought-after coins in the world, with a jaw-dropping market value of $1.8 million. That's right. One little penny. One that could be hiding in your old piggy bank, your grandfather's coin jar, or tucked away in a dusty dresser drawer. So why is this penny so valuable? And how do you know if you've got the real deal? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know exactly what to look for, but you might just become the next accidental millionaire. And here's the best part, it's not just about coins. It's about history, mystery, and unlocking hidden treasure from the past. Let's dig into the story of the 1968 penny that's quietly made headlines among collectors. But first, what makes a penny, a simple copper coin, worth more than a Ferrari? The Beatles were topping the charts, color TV was becoming a household staple, and America was shifting gears after decades of industrial growth. At the San Francisco Mint, coin production was in full swing, including the iconic Lincoln Memorial penny, an image we all recognize. But something strange happened in 1968. While billions of pennies rolled off the minting machines, a tiny handful from the San Francisco Mint were struck in a way that made them incredibly rare. These weren't your everyday pocket coins. These were coins that would silently slip into circulation, only to resurface decades later, under the radar. And here's the twist, most people didn't even know they were holding onto something extraordinary. Let's explore the rare production errors, hidden mint marks, and unique features that turned a penny into a millionaire's prize. Now, pay attention to this detail. The 1968 penny has a tiny S mint mark, which stands for San Francisco. While mint marks may seem insignificant to the average person, for collectors, they can make or break the value of a coin. In this case, the 1968 penny became the stuff of legend due to a few critical things. First, the San Francisco Mint was mostly producing proof coins that year. These are coins struck with extra care and meant for collectors, not everyday circulation. But somehow, a small batch of business strike 1968 pennies slipped through the cracks. Let that sink in. A double die penny means the design on the coin was struck twice, creating an almost ghostly shadow of Lincoln's profile or the lettering. And these doubling errors weren't just light or barely visible. On the right coin, the doubling is strong, clear, and shocking. Now here's your cliffhanger, because that doubling, if present on your 1968 penny, could skyrocket its value into the seven figures. But it's not the only thing that matters. It's a mix of rarity, condition, historical interest, and error. The 1968 penny checks all those boxes. Fewer than a dozen high-grade examples are known to exist with strong doubling and a near-perfect strike. Coin grading is a whole other world, and we'll dive into that shortly. But for now, picture this: a 1968 penny, stored away untouched, with sharp edges, clear doubling on "In God We Trust," and vibrant copper luster. In one auction, such a coin fetched over $1 million, and another collector, who found one buried in a coin collection inherited from his father, had it graded and certified only to be stunned when it was appraised at over $1.8 million. But you're probably wondering, what are the odds? How do I tell if mine is valuable? What if I tossed away a fortune without even knowing? Don't panic. You're about to find out how to check, and what not to do if you think you have one. Doubling on the date and lettering. Use a magnifying glass or loupe. Look at Liberty, "In God We Trust," and the year. The doubling should be obvious, not just a blur, but strong separation. The S should be crisp and clearly punched, with no signs of tampering. A near-mint condition coin will shine like new. Any scratches, wear, or fading could reduce value, but not always. Errors can sometimes outweigh condition. Counterfeits exist. Make sure your coin weighs close to 3.11 grams. If in doubt, get it tested. If you suspect you have the real deal, contact a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't try to clean the coin. Don't handle it with your fingers. Place it in a soft coin holder and wait for expert analysis. One coin with all these traits sold for $1.8 million. Imagine finding that in your change jar, but here's the big reveal: more may be out there, still undiscovered. And this isn't just about finding a lucky penny, it's about understanding a hidden market that has exploded over the last decade. Collectors across the US have turned their hobby into a business. From weekend garage sales to estate auctions, people are waking up to the treasure sitting in their own homes, and the 1968 penny isn't alone. Several coins from the 60s and 70s are now worth thousands or millions due to minor details and production quirks. But the 1968 is different. It's elusive, mysterious, and every new discovery drives its value even higher. One man from Ohio sold a 1968 penny he found in a coffee tin for over $700,000 before anyone knew its true worth. Experts now believe it could fetch double that today. You see, it's not just about luck. It's about awareness. About knowing what to look for. And being ready when opportunity knocks. And now, you are that penny in your pocket? It might not just be 1 cent. It might be one step closer to your dream life. A way to pay off the mortgage. Take that road trip. Or finally build the life you've been putting off. Don't ignore the signs. Don't dismiss the details. The 1968 Lincoln penny proves that value hides in plain sight, and sometimes, all it takes is a second glance to change your life forever. And now, go check your coins. Because someone out there has the next $1 million penny, and it might just be you. They say a penny saved is a penny earned. But what if I told you 1 penny could earn you a fortune? Imagine walking through a parking lot, eyes to the ground, and you spot a copper coin lying there, dull and forgotten. You pick it up. Just a penny, right? Worth 1 cent. But that exact penny could be worth not just a few bucks, not just a couple hundred, but a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Sounds like something out of a movie. But it's very real. The 2014 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny is making waves across the numismatic world, and it's shocking collectors with its rarity, mystery, and massive market value. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this modern-day treasure, how a single error, a tiny detail, turned an everyday coin into a millionaire's prize. So sit back, grab your coffee, and stay tuned until the end, because this story has more twists than you'd ever expect. Before we get into what makes the 2014 penny so special, let's rewind the clock and talk about where this all began with Abraham Lincoln. His face first appeared on the 1-cent coin in 1909, celebrating his 100th birthday. Over a century later, he's still there, watching over your change jar. The memorial reverse, that famous image of the Lincoln Memorial, was introduced in 1959 and lasted all the way to 2008. But in 2014, something unusual slipped through the cracks. A coin meant to reflect history became history itself. You see, most 2014 pennies were produced with the Union Shield design, marking a shift from the memorial reverse. But then came this mysterious penny, struck in Philadelphia, missing the mint mark, and still carrying the memorial design. Here's where things get spicy. Coins minted in Philadelphia usually carry no mint mark. That's not unusual. What's unusual is that no memorial reverse design was supposed to be struck in 2014. Philadelphia struck billions of Lincoln Shield cents that year. So how in the world did a memorial reverse design sneak into the presses? Some experts believe it was an accidental reuse of an outdated die. Others whisper about intentional releases, rare insider mistakes that made it into circulation, but regardless of how it happened, it did. And when something this rare hits the open market, it doesn't go unnoticed. Collectors went wild. Numismatists started calling it the ghost of the memorial. And then came the auction house shocker. One of these coins sold for over $1.9 million, a first rarity. You can't just walk into a bank and expect to find this penny. Only a tiny number have been confirmed to exist, and most were found purely by chance. Second, error pedigree. Coins that defy their minting year, especially those that slip past official production protocols, skyrocket in value. The 2014 Memorial Penny is a glaring contradiction. It shouldn't be. And that makes it priceless. Third, condition. The $1 million specimen wasn't just rare. It was in nearly flawless condition, graded at the highest levels by trusted agencies. A perfect storm of rarity and perfection. And finally, timing. This coin surfaced during a renewed interest in Lincoln cents, especially as older generations started cashing in on childhood collections. With collectors eager to find the next big thing, the 2014 mystery coin became the crown jewel. A retired postal worker in Ohio was organizing his change jar. Just a casual Sunday afternoon thing, nothing special. Among hundreds of pennies, one caught his eye. It looked a little off. The reverse wasn't the shield. It was the Lincoln Memorial. And the year? 2014. He thought it was just odd. But something told him to look deeper. He sent the penny off to be authenticated. Weeks later, a call came in. He'd found one of the rarest modern coins in existence. That coin sold for over $1.6 million at a private auction, and he used the money to pay off his mortgage, buy a lake house, and put both grandkids through college. And that's just one story. There are others out there, people who stumbled upon these rare gems in rolls from the bank, inside old penny jars, even in parking lots. It's not just luck. It's awareness. And after this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Now that I've got your attention, let's talk strategy. How do you know if you've got one of these ultra-rare coins sitting in your house? Start by checking the date. It must say 2014. That's step 1. Next, flip the coin. You're looking for the back, the reverse. If it shows the Union Shield, move on. If it shows the Lincoln Memorial, bingo. You may have something special. Third, look for the mint mark, or the lack of it. The correct coin will have no mint mark at all, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia. Combine these three, 2014, Memorial reverse, and no mint mark, and you may have gold disguised as copper. But hold up. Don't rush to conclusions. These coins need to be authenticated by professionals. Look for grading services like PCGS or NGC. Only they can give it the official stamp that makes collectors pay big money, and once you get it graded, that's when the real adventure begins. And I hope you do. Your next question will be where to sell it. But before you post it online or sell it to the first buyer, stop coins like this should be sold through reputable auction houses. Think heritage auctions or Stacksbowers. They have access to elite collectors who are willing to spend millions for the right coin. You can also consult local coin dealers or attend national coin shows. These events are crawling with experts who know how to guide you through the process and make sure you get what your coin is truly worth. The key is patience. Don't settle for less. $1 million coin deserves $1 million deal. Here's the truth. Most likely, only a few more will surface, if any at all. And as time goes on, condition matters more than ever. The few are in great shape, the higher the price goes. What we're seeing now is a shift. People used to think only old coins were valuable. But this 2014 penny proves that even modern coins, if minted with the right kind of mistake, can be life-changing. It means every coin jar, every roll of change from the bank, every penny your kids bring home from school has potential, and that, my friend, is where the treasure hunt begins. The 2014 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that value hides in plain sight. It's a symbol of the unexpected, the overlooked, the underdog, and maybe, just maybe, it's in your pocket right now. As you're watching this, I want you to check your change. Check your drawers. Dig through that old box of coins you got from your grandfather. Because one viewer, just like you, is going to find it, and when you do, your life won't just change, it'll transform. Stay curious. Stay searching. And never underestimate the power of a penny. If you found this video helpful, hit that thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more stories just like this, more coins worth millions hiding in the most ordinary places. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, and tell us your story. Who knows? You might be the next millionaire collector we feature right here on the channel. You've probably heard that some coins in your pocket change could be worth more than a brand new pickup truck. But what if I told you a single penny, yes, a 1964 Lincoln Memorial penny, has fetched a jaw-dropping $1 million? You heard that right. 1 cent. $1 million, and it might be sitting right under your nose, in an old coffee can, a jar of junk coins, or tucked away in a forgotten drawer. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into the mystery, the history, and the jaw-dropping reality behind this modest copper coin that turned into a collector's dream. We're going to explore what makes this penny worth a fortune, how to tell if you've got one, and how to cash in if you do, but don't rush to your change jar just yet. Because the truth behind the $1 million 1964 penny is not just about age or rarity. It's about secrets hiding in plain sight. And I'll share them all if you stay until the end. Let's rewind the clock to 1964. The Beatles were topping the charts. Gasoline was just 30 cents a gallon. And the United States Mint in Denver was busy producing over 3 billion Lincoln Memorial pennies. At first glance, nothing about this coin screams rare. It's not made of gold. It's not embedded with diamonds. It doesn't even have a silver core, but that's exactly what makes it fascinating. You see, in the world of coin collecting, value is born in the most unexpected places. Minting errors. Transitional metals. Rare varieties. And even government decisions that change everything. This 1964 penny doesn't just have history. It hides a puzzle. And those who solved it became millionaires. The 1964 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. It features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Standard composition? 95% copper, 5% zinc. Well, it's not just the D mint mark. It's what lies beneath the surface, literally and figuratively, because among the billions made, only a handful are truly exceptional. We're talking about rare die varieties, double dies, transitional planchet errors, and even mysterious off-metal strikes. There's one variety, one ultra-rare version of the 1964 penny, that changed everything. One that somehow slipped through unnoticed, until it landed at auction and stunned the world. But before we get there, let me take you on a journey into the fascinating world of minting mistakes, mint errors. They sound like blunders. But to collectors, they're gold. In 1964, the US Mint was under pressure. There was a national coin shortage. Pennies were being hoarded. Production lines were cranking out coins at top speed. And with that urgency came mistakes. Some 1964 pennies were struck on leftover silver dime planchets. Imagine a penny struck on silver. It's like finding a Mustang engine inside a pickup truck. Others show strong doubling on Lincoln's profile, the date, or the word liberty. These double die obverse errors are highly sought after. Not only because they're rare, but because they're visually striking. Collectors call them freaks of the mint, but the good kind die. In 2019, a privately held 1964D penny with a rare transitional error made headlines. It was struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet intended for dimes. Yes, a silver penny. Only a few are known to exist. This coin was authenticated, graded in mint condition, and eventually auctioned for over $1 million. It shocked collectors. It confused even seasoned experts. How could a silver planchet end up beneath a penny die? Well, that's where the chaos of the 1960s minting process comes in. When planchets were recycled and machinery was overworked, a few rogue pieces slipped into the wrong coin line, and here's the twist. That wasn't the only one. There are more out there, maybe sitting in a roll of pennies in your closet. Maybe in your granddad's old coin pouch. Or maybe, in your hand right now. A 1964D penny should be copper. If it looks silver, test its weight. A silver planchet will weigh about 2.5 grams instead of the usual 3.11. Look at the date, the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Use a magnifying glass. Doubling will look like a ghost image or thickened letters. These are obvious. If the penny looks like it was struck off kilter or has no rim on one side, don't toss it. It could be rare. Even common coins become valuable if they're in uncirculated or mint state. So a flawless 1964D penny is always worth looking at twice. Don't take it to your local pawn shop. You'll likely get pennies on the dollar, literally. Instead, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate, grade, and seal the coin, boosting its value. Once graded, you can consign it to a high-profile auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbauer's. These firms work with elite collectors, investors, and museums who are willing to pay top dollar, but even before that, get it insured. If your penny's the real deal, you're sitting on a 6 or 7-figure asset. The 1964D penny is proof that value is hiding in plain sight. In a world chasing quick wins and get-rich-quick schemes, the real treasure might be sitting quietly in your coin jar, waiting for someone like you to notice. If you've ever doubted the value of keeping old coins, think again, because stories like this one don't just make headlines. They make legacies. Your million-dollar moment might be one penny away. And now, you know how to find it.so. Go ahead. Check your coins. Check your family's stash. Check the jars, the drawers, the boxes in the attic. Sometimes the smallest coin holds the biggest fortune. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might just be holding the million-dollar penny without even knowing it. Have you ever walked past a penny lying on the ground and thought, it's just 1 cent, not worth bending over for? Well, let me ask you something. What if that tiny coin was actually worth over $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A little brown penny from the year 2000, with no mint mark, recently stunned the coin collecting world when it fetched an astonishing $1.1 million at auction. 1 cent to over $1 million. Now that's the kind of transformation we all wish we had in our bank accounts. This rare penny might be sitting in your home, right now. In a jar, in a drawer, or at the bottom of your old toolbox. This isn't just a story about money, it's a wake-up call to start looking closely at the coins we've taken for granted all our lives. So stay with me, because over the next 30 minutes, we're going deep into why this 2000 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is so valuable, what to look for, how errors made it a hidden treasure, and how ordinary folks, just like you, are cashing in big. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the very end, because we'll reveal a twist about how this coin's value could go even higher. Let's rewind the clock to the year 2000. The new millennium had just begun. People were still talking about Y2K, flip phones were high-tech, and nobody thought twice about using coins for everyday purchases. That same year, the US Mint struck billions, and I mean billions, of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most came with a mint mark, a little D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. But a very small number somehow slipped through the cracks with no mint mark at all. No D. No P. Just Lincoln's face, the date, and an eerie silence where a mint mark should have been. At first glance, they look like your average penny. But numismatists, coin collectors with an eye for the rare, noticed something odd. These coins had sharper details. A richer luster. A slightly off-center strike. And most importantly, no mint mark. We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about what makes a coin like this jump from 1 cent to over $1 million. First, rarity. In the coin world, rarity isn't just about how many coins were made, it's about how many survived in pristine condition. The no-mint mark Lincoln pennies from 2000 are so rare that fewer than a dozen have been confirmed in mint-state condition. Some experts believe even fewer exist in the wild, second, condition. Collectors don't just want old coins. They want flawless ones. The $1 million penny we're talking about was graded MS-70, which means it's basically perfect, like it came out of the machine yesterday. Not a scratch. Not a smudge, third, and this is the big one, the minting error. That missing mint mark isn't just a curiosity. It's a rare mistake in a system that's designed to be flawless. Coin collectors love mint errors. The more unusual and dramatic, the higher the price, and here's something wild, this particular coin also had what's called a double die reverse error. That means the back of the coin, where the Lincoln Memorial sits, shows faint doubled lines if you look closely. Add that to the missing mint mark in perfect condition, and you've got yourself a once-in-a-lifetime find of the man who discovered this $1.1 million penny? A retired truck mechanic from Ohio named Dennis. No expert. No fancy coin tools. Just an old habit of checking his change after every grocery store trip. He wasn't even looking for anything in particular. He just liked to collect pennies. One night, while watching a ball game, he dumped his day's change on the table and started sorting. That's when he spotted something strange. The penny from 2000 was crisp, too crisp. And when he flipped it over and noticed the doubling on the Lincoln Memorial, he knew it was different. He sent it off for grading, waited nervously, and then got the call. It was authentic, it was perfect, and it was priceless. But Dennis didn't stop there. He went back through every drawer, every coin jar, every couch cushion in his house. And guess what? He found two more unusual coins, though not as valuable as the first. Still, it changed his life. He auctioned the first one and pocketed over $1 million. Enough to pay off his mortgage, buy a lake cabin, and take his grandkids to Disney World. And now, let's talk about how you can identify a $1 million penny in your own house. First, check the date. It must be from the year 2000. Don't worry about the shine, some old pennies look dull even if they're valuable. Second, look closely at the area under the year. That's where the mint mark normally goes. If it's blank, you may have something special. A third, grab a magnifying glass or use your phone's camera and zoom in on the Lincoln Memorial. Look for doubling lines that seem to echo or shadow each other, especially on the pillars. That's where grading services come in. Companies like PCGS and NGC can professionally evaluate your coin, authenticate it, and assign it a grade. If it's legit, you'll get a certificate and the attention of serious buyers. But here's a cliffhanger for you. What if I told you there are other coins from the year 2000 with different errors, and some of them are still unlisted? That's right. The 2000 no mint mark penny isn't the only sleeper hit from that year. There are known examples of wide AM reverse pennies, where the spacing between the letters A and M in America is wider than usual. Sounds like a tiny thing, but collectors go nuts over it. These coins can fetch thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on condition. Then there's the off-center strike penny. If Lincoln's head looks like it's drifting off the coin, that could be a jackpot too. And let's not forget the die cracks, cuts, and clash marks, tiny metal flaws that result from worn-out minting machines. They're like fingerprints of history, and collectors are always hunting them. So what does that mean for you? It means that every penny in your home is now a potential treasure. Not just the 2000s. But especially those, and just when you think we've covered it all, there's still one piece left. Here's the thing, coin values rise and fall based on demand, scarcity, and discovery. And right now, the 2000 no mint mark penny is gaining legendary status among collectors. Some experts believe that its value could double in the next 10 years, especially as fewer perfect specimens remain. Imagine a $1.1 million coin turning into $2 million. There are even rumors of another coin from the same batch, perfect, uncirculated, with even rarer doubling, hidden away in someone's attic. If that ever surfaces, it could shatter records and make headlines around the world. You don't need to be a coin expert. You don't need a metal detector. All you need is curiosity, a little time, and the willingness to look. Next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Flip it. Study it, because hidden in your change, your drawers, or your pocket, might just be the coin that changes your life forever. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button. Subscribe for more incredible stories about coins worth fortunes. And in the comments, let me know if you've ever found a rare penny or if you're going to start hunting today. Imagine checking your old penny jar one evening, expecting nothing more than a handful of copper-colored coins, but hidden beneath those common cents is one rare coin that could flip your financial life upside down. That's right, a penny that could be worth not a few cents, not a few dollars, but over $1.2 million. Today, we're diving into the story of a coin that's been overlooked by thousands, even millions, the 1970 Lincoln Memorial Penny. A coin born in a decade of change, holding secrets only the most curious collectors have unlocked. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and why this coin could be your ticket to a brand new life. But first, ask yourself, how many times have you held a penny and never really looked at it? Stay with me. This story gets deeper than you'd think. The 1970s were a complex time for America. Economic shifts, political unrest, and rising inflation meant that every cent counted, literally. In 1970, the Denver Mint produced over 2.9 billion Lincoln Memorial pennies. On the surface, nothing seemed different. The same copper composition. The same profile of President Lincoln. The same familiar memorial reverse, but as with many treasures, the value lies not in the ordinary, but in the extraordinary. A few coins that year, struck with slight anomalies, have made their way into collector lore. A handful of 1970 pennies display traits so rare and so precise, experts believe they were the product of a once-in-a-lifetime minting error, and these aren't myths. These are coins graded, authenticated, and auctioned for amounts that would make Wall Street raise an eyebrow. Let's break down what exactly makes this Lincoln Memorial penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. First, the most valuable 1970 pennies show a doubling effect on the obverse, that's the front side of the coin, where Lincoln's portrait is. This phenomenon, known as a double die, occurs when the coin die is improperly manufactured. The result? Words like liberty and in God we trust appear slightly duplicated under magnification, a tiny flaw, but a massive signal to collectors. Now add to this a sharp, full strike, high copper content, and an untouched condition. Some of these coins are graded MS67 and above, that's mint state, a near-perfect coin with minimal to no wear. And when these characteristics align, the value climbs into the six-figure range, sometimes more. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There's a version of the 1970 penny struck on a 1941 Canadian cent planchet. It's not just a double die, it's a coin that shouldn't even exist. During coin production, blank discs known as planchets are fed into coin presses. Sometimes, especially during periods of high production pressure, foreign planchets accidentally enter the system. In the case of the 1970 a few Canadian copper blanks from 1941 somehow made it into the Denver Mint's operations. And a small number of Lincoln pennies were struck on them. The weight is off. The composition is off. But the strike is perfect. A hybrid coin that shouldn't exist. And in the coin collecting world, that kind of mistake is golden. Some numismatists speculate that mint workers may have created a few intentionally, slipping them past inspectors and into circulation. If true, these coins are more than rare, they're legends in metal, and here's the real twist, these coins may still be hiding in plain sight, yes. In jars. In drawers. In inherited collections passed down without thought. So the next time you're holding a penny from 1970 with a D mark, take a pause. Look closely. You could be holding the rarest one of all. Let's talk about how to find these coins, and what to do if you suspect you found one. First, sort through your collection. Focus only on pennies dated 1970 with a D below the date. Use a jeweler's loupe or coin magnifier to inspect details. Look for doubling on the lettering, clarity in the strike, and anything unusual in the surface or color. Weigh the coin. A normal 1970 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If yours is lighter, closer to 2.8 grams, you might be looking at one struck on a foreign planchet. Now here's a critical point. Don't clean it. Never polish, scrub, or try to make it shinier. Cleaning a rare coin can drop its value by thousands. Instead, place it in a protective sleeve and reach out to a professional coin grading service. PCGS or NGC are top-tier choices. They can authenticate and assign a grade, which plays a massive role in determining value. In 2023, one of these coins in pristine condition was estimated at over $1.2 million at auction. One coin. One moment. One financial transformation, and that brings us to an even bigger question. Let's take a step back and dream for a second. What would life look like if tomorrow you discovered you were holding a seven-figure penny? Would you pay off your mortgage? Retire early? Start that business you've been putting off for years? Maybe take that cross-country road trip in a fully restored 1969 Mustang. This isn't about fantasy. It's about opportunity. Real opportunity hidden in the smallest corners of your life, and the 1970 penny is a reminder that not everything valuable looks valuable at first glance. Sometimes, it's the little things that carry the most power, and if you think the 1970 penny is the only one worth a fortune, you're in for a surprise, because there are dozens more pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, quietly circulating among us, each holding untapped wealth. Your call to action: take a day this week and go through your old coins. Pull out those 1970 pennies. Grab a magnifier. Start looking, because that one coin, that forgotten copper disc at the bottom of your change jar, could be the turning point in your story. You've got the knowledge now. You've got the tools. And the reward could change your life forever. Subscribe to this channel for more rare coin secrets, hidden million-dollar treasures, and real stories from people just like you who struck gold in the most unexpected places. In the world of coin collecting, the next big discovery might just be in your pocket right now. Stay curious, stay watchful, and keep searching, because the next millionaire might not be on Wall Street, he might just be watching this video. Gentlemen, imagine this. You're digging through a dusty old coffee can full of change in your garage. You pull out a worn-down penny, just like you've done 100 times before. But this time, something's different. That little coin in your hand? It's a 1996 Lincoln Memorial penny. And it could be worth $1.30 million. Now take a moment to let that sink in. A coin you might have used for bubblegum back in the day could now buy you a luxury home, a few classic cars, or even fund your retirement comfortably. In this video, we're going on a 30-minute journey through the world of the 1996 Lincoln penny. I'm going to show you why this seemingly ordinary coin has become a millionaire maker. We'll explore how to spot the valuable ones, why collectors are scrambling to find them, and what you should do if you think you have one. And stick around until the end, because I'll reveal the one shocking error that skyrocketed this penny's value, and most folks never even notice it. The Lincoln Memorial penny first rolled out in 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the wheat cent and featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Now, the 1996 version wasn't meant to be special. It was minted in Denver, with millions upon millions entering circulation. But history has a funny way of hiding treasures in plain sight. See, 1996 was nearing the end of the Memorial penny era, which would eventually give way to the Lincoln Bicentennial Series in 2009. But this coin carried a secret, one that would not be discovered until years later. And that secret would make it one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence. Alright, let's get into the meat of it. Not every 1996 penny is worth a fortune. In fact, most are still worth 1 cent. But a rare handful possess characteristics that send their value through the roof. First, let's talk about double dies, a famous minting error that occurs when the coin design is impressed more than once but slightly misaligned. Collectors go wild for this. Some 1996 pennies were struck with doubling visible in the word Liberty, the date, or even Lincoln's profile. That kind of error is incredibly rare, especially in that year. Second, we've got coins struck on the wrong planchet. Some 1996 pennies were mistakenly struck on dime or foreign coin blanks, giving them the wrong color, weight, or size. You ever seen a penny that looks silver? That could be one of them. And third, the grade. A mint state 1996 penny graded MS69 red is a unicorn. The fewer the scratches, the deeper the red luster, the higher the value. Combine that with a rare error and boom, you're talking 7 figures. One of these rare beauties sold in a private auction for $1.3 million. Imagine getting that phone call after sending your old penny off to a grading service. Let's break it down in simple terms. If you're holding a 1996 penny, flip on a bright light and grab a magnifying glass. Start with the obverse, or the head side. Look at the word Liberty, the year 1996, and especially the D mint mark. Next, check the color. A rich red hue means the coin hasn't been circulated much. If it looks dull brown or has spots, it's likely not high grade. But if it's got that original copper shine, you might be holding something special. Weigh it. A normal penny from 1996 should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is lighter or heavier, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet, a major error that serious collectors love. Now here's the real kicker. There's one extremely rare variation that involves an off-center strike where the coin wasn't aligned properly when it was stamped. If it's off by more than 15% and still has a full date, you could be sitting on a goldmine, and that's not just theory. One man in Colorado found such a penny in a roll he'd gotten from the bank. He sold it for $1.3 million to a private collector. It was authenticated, graded, and sealed forever as a piece of numismatic history. It's about rarity, history, and the thrill of the hunt. Collectors are always on the lookout for the perfect storm: a rare minting year, a flawless coin, and a jaw-dropping error. The 1996 D penny checks all three boxes in a very specific, very limited number of cases. Also, it's Lincoln. Arguably the most iconic figure on U.S. currency. His coins have emotional and patriotic value. For collectors, owning a one-of-a-kind Lincoln cent is like owning a signed baseball from Babe Ruth. There's heritage behind it, but there's something else. Coins like these aren't just collectibles. They're investments. Their value appreciates over time. And unlike stocks or property, they fit in your pocket and can cross borders easily. Ever wonder why hedge fund managers and celebrities are now collecting rare coins? It's not a hobby, it's a smart portfolio move. How many of these 1996 $1 million pennies are still out there? Well, that brings us to the mystery that's kept collectors up at night. Experts believe there could be dozens of valuable 1996 D-era pennies still out there, in people's junk drawers, old coin jars, or hidden in bankrolls. Because most folks don't know what to look for. They assume it's just another penny, but the truth is, this coin's value has only come to light recently. With coin grading technologies getting more precise and collectors now paying attention to modern coins, the rush to find these hidden treasures has only just begun. Some estimate that up to 50 error coins with MS68 or higher grades might still be unclaimed. That's 50 chances to become a millionaire. Think about that next time you get a penny and change at the gas station. First, do not clean it. That'll ruin its value instantly. And next, weigh it. Compare its weight to a standard copper-plated zinc penny, then take high-resolution photos and send them to a professional coin grader like PCGS or NGC. For a small fee, they'll give you an official grade. If it hits MS68 or higher with a known error, congratulations, you might be looking at 6 or 7 figures. You can list it in an auction, work with a coin broker, or go directly to collectors through certified coin networks. The point is, don't sit on it. Because while it might seem like just a penny to you, it could change your entire financial future. So there you have it. The 1996 D Lincoln Memorial Penny, an unassuming little coin that's taken the collecting world by storm. A coin that's been spent on soda, left in couch cushions, and buried in backyard time capsules. Now worth over $1 million. So the next time you're about to dump your change into a Coinstar machine, pause. Look closely. That 1 cent might just be your ticket to a whole new life, because sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest fortunes. What if I told you the penny sitting at the bottom of your junk drawer, the one you've probably ignored for years, could be worth over $1.4 million? Yes, a single 1976 Lincoln Memorial penny, with no mint mark, quietly hiding in plain sight, has turned average collectors into millionaires overnight. This isn't some urban legend or a coin collector's fantasy. It's real. And it's happening more often than you think. I'm going to show you why one small copper coin from 1976 could rewrite your financial story. Whether you're retired, close to retirement, or still grinding away at the 9-to-5, this is your chance to discover treasure, without a shovel. Stick around because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at every single penny you've ever touched. First, let's talk about the year 1976. America was celebrating its bicentennial. Flags were waving, parades were marching, and coins were being struck with patriotic pride. While the government went all in creating special editions of quarters, half dollars, and dollars with the bicentennial design, the humble penny remained unchanged. At first glance, the 1976 Lincoln penny looked just like the years before and after. But not all of them were created equal. Some 1976 pennies were struck without a mint mark. That's not too unusual on its own. The Philadelphia Mint didn't always include a mint mark. But what is unusual is what came next, because one specific batch of 1976 no mint mark pennies had a striking difference. An error so rare, it turned this copper coin into a $1 million masterpiece. No, it wasn't just about the missing mint mark. That's only the beginning. To understand why one of these pennies is now worth $1.4 million, we have to look at three key details: the strike, the composition, and the mistake. And now let's talk about the strike. Most pennies are mass produced. Billions of them are pushed out each year. But every once in a while, a coin gets struck in such crisp detail that it looks sculpted by hand. Sharp edges, clear text, perfect relief. Then, there's the composition. The majority of 1976 pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. But here's the kicker: a few were struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or other denominations. That means some 1976 pennies were created using a completely wrong metal base. Lighter in weight, slightly different in color. You wouldn't know it unless you tested the coin. But for collectors, that makes it pure gold. And now for the mistake. One specific 1976 penny was struck off-center, and missing details on Lincoln's jacket and the memorial reverse. Combined with its no mint mark origin and unusual weight, this coin stunned experts. It was found decades later in near-perfect condition, and when it finally hit the auction block, it sold for $1.4 million. Imagine this. A retired schoolteacher in Illinois was going through an old coin jar. A jar she and her late husband kept for over 40 years. Dozens of pennies, nickels, dimes, all dull and dusty, and then she saw it. A 1976 penny, no mint mark, but it felt lighter than the others. She almost tossed it out. But something told her to keep it. She took it to a local shop. The guy behind the counter ran some tests, and his hands started shaking. He told her to get that penny certified immediately. Fast forward 6 months. Multiple labs confirmed it was one of the rarest known errors. The teacher was flown out to a major auction house in California. When the hammer dropped, she walked away a millionaire from forgotten change jar to $1.4 million. Experts believe there may still be more of these pennies out there, unaccounted for. Just waiting, maybe, in your drawer. Grab any 1976 pennies you have. Look for the absence of a mint mark, just beneath the date. If there's a D or S, it's not your golden ticket. No mint mark means it might be the one. Check the weight. A normal 1976 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet. That's your clue. Are there any unusual lines, shifts, or doubling in the lettering? Any off-center strikes? These are the signs that collectors drool over. Flip it over. Inspect the Lincoln Memorial. Look at the steps, the columns, and the United States of America text. Any fading, doubling, or misalignment can be a jackpot signal, and if you think you might have something special, do not try to clean it. That could destroy its value instantly. Instead, put it in a protective sleeve and contact a coin certification agency like PCGS or NGC. Your penny could be next in line to hit 7 figures. Rare coins are more than money. They're history. They're art. They're a one-of-a-kind fingerprint of a moment in time, and for collectors, owning a coin like the 1976 no mint mark penny is like owning a time machine. They're not buying the copper. They're buying the story. The mystery. The thrill of knowing that only one or two of these coins exist. It's no different from people buying classic cars, rare paintings, or baseball cards. Value never stops growing. That same penny that sold for $1.4 million? It was worth around $12,000 just 10 years ago. That's not a coin. That's an investment with a legacy. If you've ever thought about collecting coins, now is the time, because while others are chasing stocks in crypto, rare coins have quietly exploded in value. Especially US pennies from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is just one example. But it proves the point: hidden treasures still exist, and here's the cliffhanger: experts believe that less than 10% of rare error coins have actually been discovered. That means 90% could still be sitting in old coffee tins, boxes in your attic, or even in your pants pocket right now. So before you spend that next penny, check it. Inspect it. Hold it up to the light, because the next millionaire could be you. If this story fired you up, hit that like button and subscribe for more millionaire coin discoveries. Drop a comment below if you found a strange penny recently. I read every single one. Your journey to finding hidden wealth has just begun. This is more than a hobby. It's a doorway to a new life. Gentlemen, what if I told you that a simple copper penny sitting at the bottom of your junk drawer could be worth more than a Ferrari, a beach house, or even a retirement nest egg? I'm talking about the mysterious and mind-blowing 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin that's made headlines, turned heads, and most shockingly, fetched a jaw-dropping $1.2 million at auction now. If you're like most men between 30 and 70, you've probably handled thousands of pennies in your life without a second thought, but what if one of them could completely flip your financial story? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny is worth millions, how to spot one, and what to do if you ever find it. Let's dig into the treasure you never knew you had. The 1984 Lincoln Memorial penny looks ordinary at first glance. It's the kind of coin you'd flip to make a decision or throw into a wishing well, but here's where things get interesting. Unlike other pennies of its era, this coin has a unique story. There's no mint mark under the date. That's your first clue. The missing mint mark tells a bigger story than most realize. You see, back in the 80s, coins minted in Philadelphia often didn't carry mint marks, but that's not the only thing setting this particular coin apart. This 1984 penny comes with a rare doubling error known among collectors as a double die obverse coin. The features on Lincoln's face, especially his ear and beard, appear to have a shadow-like second impression, not a smudge. Not a scratch. A real, mechanical doubling from the die itself. This isn't just a mistake, it's a minting mystery, and when that error meets the missing mint mark, what you're looking at is a 1 in a million combination. Literally hold that thought. The answer is coming, and it's bigger than you think. It's everything. There are millions of 1984 pennies out there, but only a handful carry this exact error. Less than 100 are believed to exist in premium condition, even fewer are confirmed in what's called MS67 grade, mint state perfection. Now take that small number and add demand. Collectors, investors, historians, they all want a piece of this copper legend, and they're willing to pay big. $1,200,000. Let that sink in. A coin most folks ignore in their couch cushions went for more than most American homes, and that sale didn't happen in the 90s or early 2000s when coin fever was at a high. That happened recently, which tells us something big. Interest in rare coins is only growing. The answer lies in three forces coming together: historical significance, unbelievable rarity, and a mistake that became a masterpiece. But the story gets even crazier when we look at what caused this penny to exist in the first place. A heavy metal stamp used to impress the design onto a blank piece of metal. When the die is misaligned or pressed twice during setup, a doubling effect occurs. These are not modern-day digital errors, these were mechanical mistakes often made during manual adjustments or rushed production schedules, and in 1984, the US Mint was under pressure, millions of coins per day. Thousands of tons of copper moving through machinery. One small hiccup, one moment of human oversight, and boom. A historical error was born. Because pennies were considered low-value production, there was no thought that anyone would be hunting for minor imperfections. Fast forward 4 decades, and collectors are scanning coins with magnifying glasses, high-def cameras, and even microscopes, because now, a smudge of history on a penny could buy you a mansion in Miami. But if you think this coin is rare, wait till you hear how hard it is to find one in perfect condition. The truth is, it's not just about finding the right coin. It's about finding it in the right condition. Coins go through a lot of vending machines, pockets, dirt, rain, heat. Each scratch or blemish drops the value. The $1.2 million coin, that one was untouched, uncirculated, and professionally graded by the best in the business. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC inspect every detail: the luster, the rim, the clarity of Lincoln's features. Only coins that pass the strictest tests hit the MS67 or MS68 grade. If your coin looks shiny, sharp, and fresh, you're halfway to gold, but don't clean it ever. One guy once tried to polish his 1984 double die penny. He turned a potential $900,000 coin into a $9 souvenir. So if you find a 1984 penny with no mint mark and a shadowed second ear on Lincoln, put it in a soft cloth. Don't touch it, send it to a grading service. That one move could change your retirement plan forever. But what are the odds you'll ever find one? Well, you'd be surprised. Don't underestimate your own home. Old jars, toolboxes, coffee cans filled with change from 30 years ago. These places are gold mines. Next up, estate sales, flea markets, garage cleanouts. You'd be amazed how many elderly folks collected coins without knowing what they had, and if they left it behind, someone might sell the whole batch for $5. And here's where experience comes into play. Men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, you've lived through the coin's lifetime. You remember Reagan, gas at $1. And yes, using change daily, that means there's a very real chance you've touched This $1 million penny before you just didn't know what it was, but now you do, and now you're armed with the knowledge to recognize history and the power to profit from it. So let's imagine it. You find the penny, you spot the doubling on Lincoln's EAR. It has no mint mark. It's sharp, clean, uncirculated. The market right now is hot. Collectors are paying top dollar for certified treasures. But timing is everything. Wait too long and the excitement fades, sell too early, and you might miss future value. Many men in your age group are planning retirement, thinking legacy. What better legacy than turning a forgotten coin into generational wealth? That's not just smart. That's powerful. But before we close this treasure hunt, there's one final twist. There's a rumor among high-end collectors. A whisper that a near-perfect MS-70 version of the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may exist. If it ever surfaces, it won't go for $1.2 million. It'll go for double, maybe triple, and it could be in a coin jar in Kansas. Or under a floorboard in Florida. Or in your very own wallet. So, before you spend that next penny, take a second look. You just might be holding history, and if you are, your story is about to change forever. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to check their pockets, because sometimes, the road to wealth begins with the tiniest piece of copper. You ever dig through your spare change, hoping to find something special? Maybe a silver dime, a buffalo nickel, or just enough quarters to grab a cup of coffee. But what if I told you that right now, sitting quietly in someone's junk drawer or buried deep in an old coffee can, there's a 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, worth a staggering $1.6 million? Yes, you heard that right. One tiny copper coin from 1965 is now worth more than most people's homes. And it's not just collectors fighting over this penny, it's investors, museums, and even private billionaires. In today's video, we're going deep into the mystery, the history, and the fortune behind the 1965 no mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, what makes this coin worth millions, and how to find out if the one in your own collection might just change your life. Let's start with what makes this coin so ordinary looking, and yet so incredibly rare. The 1965 Lincoln penny looks just like any other. It features Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse, facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" over his head, liberty on the left, and the date 1965 on the right. Flip it over, and you see the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. So what's the big deal? No mint mark. That's right. It doesn't say P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In 1965, the United States Mint stopped using mint marks on coins. Why? Because the mint was battling a national coin shortage. People were hoarding coins, especially those made from silver. So the mint removed mint marks to try and prevent collectors from targeting specific coins and worsening the shortage. They didn't just remove mint marks. They changed the very metal composition of our coins. And that tiny decision led to something no one expected, an error so rare, it's now worth over $1 million. Let's talk metals. Before 1965, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But the rising cost of copper in the mid-60s had the mint experimenting with different materials. Although the official composition of the 1965 penny remained copper zinc, several planchets, that's the blank discs used to strike coins, from earlier years or other denominations accidentally slipped through the cracks. Some of these pennies were struck on leftover silver dime planchets. Others ended up with double dies or off-center strikes. And when collectors later found them, often by complete accident, they couldn't believe what they were holding. That's not supposed to exist. But it does. And one of them sold for $1.6 million. So how do you tell if your 1965 penny is one of those rare errors? It's not just the weight, not just the look, and certainly not just the date. There's a hidden combination of clues, and we're about to uncover them one by one. First, check the weight. A normal 1965 penny weighs 3.11 grams. But if you happen to have a penny that weighs closer to 2.5 grams, it might be a silver planchet error. That's a huge red flag in a good way. Second, examine the color and tone. Silver planchet errors shine differently than regular copper coins. They'll look silvery gray instead of reddish brown. But don't polish the coin, cleaning it can destroy the value. Third, check the edges. A penny struck on a dime planchet will be slightly smaller in diameter, and sometimes the rim won't form correctly. These subtle imperfections are worth more than gold. Some 1965 pennies also have double die obverse. That means the coin was struck twice slightly off, causing the text or Lincoln's profile to look shadowed or doubled. These are rare and valuable all on their own, but paired with a planchet error, now you're talking serious millions. Alright, I've got some old pennies at home. But what if you've already tossed away one of these $1,000,000 coins without even knowing? That happened to a man in Nebraska. In 2017, a retired trucker in Nebraska cashed in his old coin jar at a local grocery store coin machine. Nothing special, just random pennies, nickels, dimes. 2 weeks later, the store's coin sorter jammed. The technician opened it and noticed a penny that was unusually shiny. He took it home, tested it, and discovered it was a 1965 Lincoln penny struck on a silver planchet. He sold it at auction for over $950,000, and this isn't the only story like that. A woman in Texas found a 1965 penny with doubling in the words "In God We Trust" and sold it for $12,000. A college student in Michigan discovered a rare off-center strike from 1965 and landed $28,000. These aren't fairy tales. They're real. And they could happen to you, but even if you find one, how do you sell it without getting ripped off? Who do you trust? What if a dealer offers you $1,000? For a coin worth $1 million, the first step is getting your coin professionally graded. You want to contact a trusted company like PCGS or NGC, Professional Coin Grading Service, or Numismatic Guarantee Company. They're the top dogs. They'll authenticate the coin, assign it a grade, and encapsulate it in a protective holder. That holder is gold in the collector world. It makes your coin legitimate. Next, consider auction houses. Not just any auction, but ones like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers. These companies specialize in rare coins and have a worldwide buyer network. They'll put your coin in front of the right people willing to drop 6 or 7 figures, and remember, timing is everything. Coin values fluctuate based on metal prices, collector trends, and even what's happening in the news. Selling during peak buzz could mean the difference between $100,000 and $1.6 million. What makes collectors chase it like treasure hunters? The answer isn't just rarity, it's legacy. The Lincoln penny is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. It's been in continuous production since 1909. That's more than a century of history, politics, art, and change all in a piece of metal you can hold between your fingers. Collectors aren't just buying coins. They're buying stories, mistakes, survival. A 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that slipped through with the wrong metal, the wrong size, and the perfect storm of errors? That's a piece of American heritage. To own one is to own a rare chapter of the nation's past. And some collectors are willing to pay a fortune to claim that piece. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or crack open that old coin jar in the garage, take a closer look. Really look. That ordinary 1965 penny might not be ordinary at all. It might be a doorway to a new life, a windfall you never expected. 1 penny. One chance. One decision to check, and it could lead to $1.6 million. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more $1 million coin stories coming your way, and you don't want to miss the next one, because your next treasure might already be in your hands. Imagine finding a penny that could rewrite your entire financial story. Now, what if I told you that a simple 1964 Lincoln penny, the kind that could be hiding in your old coin jar or tucked away in a drawer somewhere, is now worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? Yes, you heard that right, one single penny. No mint mark. No flashy appearance. Just a regular coin that's anything but ordinary. Stay with me, because in this video, we're going to uncover how a coin that once bought a piece of candy is now buying mansions. And if you've ever held a 1964 penny in your hand, you might be closer to $1 million fortune than you ever imagined. The story begins in a turbulent time in American history. 1964, the height of the Cold War, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and the Beatles had just touched down in the U.S. The country was changing fast, and so was its money. The U.S. Mint struck over 6 billion Lincoln Memorial cents that year. They were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Most of them ended up in circulation, bouncing from pocket to pocket. But, among these billions, a few rare specimens slipped through, coins with subtle errors, unique characteristics, or minting anomalies that today command fortunes. But what makes these 1964 pennies so special? And more importantly, how do you know if you've got one of the rare $1 million versions? Because the answer might just change your life. If you look at the obverse, that's the front of the coin right under the date, you might expect to see a little D or S indicating where the coin was minted. But not the one we're talking about. This penny has no mint mark at all. No mint mark means it was produced in Philadelphia. Most collectors might dismiss that, thinking it's common. But in the world of numismatics, details matter. Because within the millions of no mint mark coins, there are a few, just a handful, that were struck with exceptional qualities, rare errors, or preserved in perfect condition. These are the coins that turn heads at auctions and drop jaws when bidding climbs into the 6 and 7 figures. When we talk about coin value, three major forces are at play: rarity, condition, and demand. While billions of 1964 pennies exist, the rare ones have something extra. It might be a double die error, where the design is imprinted twice slightly off, giving it a shadowy, doubled appearance. Or maybe it's a full red luster, a coin so well preserved it looks like it just came off the press yesterday. Condition. A penny graded MS67 or MS68 by a top grading service like PCGS or NGC is virtually flawless. And in the world of collecting, perfection pays big. Demand. Lincoln pennies are one of the most beloved and collected coins in U.S. history. Collectors will go to great lengths and great expenses to complete their sets, especially when a rare variant comes up. And now, think about this: a coin with a double die obverse, no mint mark, full red color, and a perfect mint state condition. That's a unicorn. And one of those unicorns crossed the auction block not long ago, and that's where the $1.7 million price tag came into play. But it didn't start that way. The story behind that coin's discovery is as incredible as its value. The man who found it wasn't a professional collector. In fact, he was just going through some of his late father's belongings: old war medals, faded photographs, and a small box of coins. The 1964 penny caught his eye because of its bright, uncirculated color. It almost glowed. Until he looked closer. The date seemed slightly off. The lettering looked unusual. And when he put it under a magnifying glass, he spotted something that didn't belong: a doubling of the "In God We Trust" inscription. That he sent the coin off to PCGS for grading, thinking maybe it was worth a couple $100. What he got back was the shock of his life: a pristine 1964 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial sent with a rare double die error in blazing red, an evaluation that left him speechless. That coin, later auctioned at a high-end numismatic event, fetched $1.7 million. There are possibly more out there. Maybe sitting in your kitchen drawer. Maybe resting in a jar by your bed. Maybe passed down from your grandfather. First, check the color. Copper pennies come in 3 color grades: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. Full red is the most valuable, indicating the coin has never been in circulation. Next, inspect the date and lettering. Look for doubling. That's your key to a double die variety. A good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe is essential here. Then, assess the surface and luster. Any scratches, nicks, or wear will reduce the value. If the coin appears flawless to the naked eye, it's time to consider grading. Send the coin to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Yes, it costs a little upfront, but the returns, as we've seen, can be life-changing. But here's something few people talk about: there's an even rarer variety of this coin. One that's rumored to exist but has never been fully confirmed. A hidden legend among collectors. Rumors in the numismatic community speak of a 1964 Lincoln penny that was struck on a silver planchet. That's right, silver. An anomaly caused during the minting process where the wrong metal blank was used. Only a few experts claim to have seen it. Some say one was auctioned off privately for over $2 million, but the details remain murky. Whether myth or fact, the silver 1964 penny is the stuff of legends, and it's out there, waiting to be found. Could it be in your pocket? Your collection? Or still buried in change that hasn't seen the light of day in decades? And now, the most important question: will you check your jars, drawers, and forgotten boxes? Will you inspect every 1964 penny that comes your way? Will you become the next story, the next lucky American who turned a single cent into a 7-figure windfall? Remember, wealth doesn't always come in the form of big business deals or stock market wins. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, in your change, in your past, in your hands. The 1964 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is not just a piece of metal, it's a symbol of hidden value, of forgotten treasure, and of the extraordinary power of knowing what to look for. Because the next $1 million penny might already be yours. Your story will become the next chapter in this incredible journey.